Hey guys, this is Dr. Hub. Today we'll look at the graphical representation of the data. So first is the histogram. We're looking at histogram. So histogram's definition is a graphical representation of the frequency distribution. So it's a graphical representation of the frequency distribution. And it contains the rectangles and shows the underlying frequencies of a set of common continuous quantitative data. It focuses on a continuous quantitative data. And there is an x horizontal axis is known as the abscissa. And it is usually has a group of scores or class intervals of the variables data. So it has a group of class intervals, and these are the variables and the data of the variables as well as the data. And then comes the y. Y is nothing but the vertical axis is known as a ordinate. So y is known as a ordinate, and it usually shows the frequency at which the variables occur. So it shows the frequency at which the variables occur. Next, let's show a rough diagram of the histogram looks. So it's going to be a continuous set of data. We saw that there is abscissa as well as the ordinates. So bottom one is abscissa and the vertical is going to be the ordinates. Next, we look at the bar chart. So we look at the bar chart. So what is meant by the bar chart? So it is mainly for the nominal or the ordinal scale data. It is mainly for the nominal. It is mainly for the nominal or the ordinal scale data. And they are not quantitative and usually qualitative. They are not quantitative. They are not quantitative, and they usually, if you see, it's usually qualitative. It is not quantitative and is usually qualitative. So it is qualitative. It is not quantitative. And the difference between the bar graph and a histogram is that, so what is the difference? The difference is that the rectangles are separated by spaces representing the data that forms a discrete categories instead of continuous groups. So in terms of it is continuous in terms of the histogram, whereas in the bar graph they are not continuous. Then in case of bar graphs, it can be simple multiple component bar graphs. So it is divided as, it can be simple, it can be multiple, as well as it can be the component bar graph. Then let's move at the pie graphs, pie charts or the pie graphs. So in terms of the pie chart, it is they are also used as a nominal or ordinal data. They are used for the nominal or the ordinal data. And the categorical data is represented as a segment of the circle. So it forms a segment and this is of a circle. And it can be colored variously. So then we move on to the frequency polygons. The frequency polygons. So what is frequency polygons? Frequency polygons are used for mainly ratio and interval scale data. It is used for ratio as well as a interval scale data. So ratio as well as interval scale data. Its frequency polygon is the midpoint of each class intervals are joined together by a straight line. So midpoint of each class interval are joined by the straight line. So let's draw an example to understand it better. So assuming these are the graph, so you draw in the midpoint and then you join it. Then we look at the ogive. So in case of an ogive, a frequency polygon which is drawn to represent the cumulative frequency distribution. So it is drawn, it represents the cumulative frequency distribution, and this forms a typical S-shaped curve. So it forms a typical S-shaped curve, and this is nothing but the ogive. So it is referred to as a cumulative frequency diagram. It is represented as a cumulative frequency diagram. Next we look at the line chart. So if you see the overview, it will roughly look like this. Next is the line chart. So a line chart is also known as a line diagram or the line graph. So it is a line diagram or the line graph, and it is best use is to show the trend of events. So it shows the trend of the events or the change over the passage of time, and also the change over passage of time. So it shows the trend of the events. So it used to show the trend of the events or change over the passage of time. So for example, this will look like this. So basically the trend of the events.